Good afternoon. Welcome to our 2024 State of the City Luncheon. We're so glad you could all join us today. My name is Tony Ciro. I'm the current board chair for the Hastings Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau. For over 10 years, the Chamber has been hosting this event, and we're excited to have the chance to come together again today. One of the many things I've come to admire about Hastings is the close-knit community we live and work in. I think today's event is a testament to that. What a powerful thing that we can bring together our business community and several of our community leaders to learn more about what is happening in Hastings. I know this is not something that happens in all communities. I realized this the other day when my 9-year-old daughter asked me if I was famous because I know so many people in Hastings. Well, I did appreciate the smile and chuckle her comments gave me. It made me realize that events like today, where we get to share lunch, network, and have dialogue with each other is what makes Hastings so special. While the lunch from the public house is a nice benefit, I know we're all here today because we believe that a thriving community requires strong partnerships. Today, the Chamber is pleased to host this event, which gives us the opportunity to hear from 3 of our community partners from the hospital, the school district, and our city mayor. In addition, we have elected officials. We have our House of Representatives, Rep. Shane Hudella in the audience, and we also have Senator Seeberger here today. Thank you to you guys for coming. Before I bring our first speaker up, I want to thank one of our other important partners, and that is Dakota Electric for sponsoring today's event. If we could all give them a round of applause. I'd also like to thank Nicole and her staff at the Hastings Public House. They are the reigning Chamber Business of the Year, by the way. Thank you to them for hosting us today. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our first guest, Jill Ostrom, up to the podium. Jill is the current president of United Hospital, which includes their River Falls campus and their Regina campus here in Hastings. Jill has over 25 years of experience as an executive for large hospitals, including both United and Mercy hospitals here in Minnesota, as well as time with Jefferson Health in New Jersey and Parkview Health in Indiana. Jill has a proven track record of success in all the hospitals she has led and is extremely well respected in her field. She is a member of the American College for Healthcare Executives and has a master's degree from the University of Minnesota and a bachelor's degree from St. Olaf College, Northfield. Please welcome Jill up to the stage for an update on Regina Hospital.
Well, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Great. Thank you for letting me have just a couple of minutes to introduce myself and our team here. We're delighted to be here as part of the Hastings community. I'm delighted to be here today. I stepped into the role of president, the leader for the Hastings Regina campus when Helen Strike retired this fall. And Helen has been a great colleague, and we have seen growth and development and just great progress here in Hastings under Helen's leadership. And we're eager, our whole team is eager to be here to continue that. I want to start just introducing a couple of people from our team that are here today. So Jason Baybridge, who I know many of you know, is our Director of Operations here. And next to him is Tracy Kirby, who's our Vice President for Nursing Care across the east part of our region. Jen Lash, who's the Nursing Director in Hastings, couldn't be here today. And our colleague, Dr. Jose Bernard, is our Vice President for Medical Affairs, and he couldn't be down here either. Although we're all spending more time here in Hastings, really happy to get to know your community and our community better. Regina Hospital's been here for 70 years. It's a long legacy in history, and I know many of you are connected to that in very special ways. Some of you have families who probably started the hospital, who have been involved over the years, and I know you have seen just a ton of change in healthcare as we have. Well, we're really happy to still be here in Hastings and to be providing care for all of you and your friends and neighbors. We do about 1,000 patient admissions at the hospital every year, but we do about 9 times as many emergency department visits and about 25 times as many outpatient visits. So what I want to convey to you is we are here trying to meet the needs of your community in the ways that they need it most, in our outpatient services, in our emergency department, through our clinics, and through the hospital care. And we just really appreciate the opportunity to be part of that and to do that. Particularly things like the growth of our cancer program, the growth of our mental health services, both on the inpatient side and lots of outpatient mental health programs, and the increasing growth of our clinics and our specialty services. Those are all things that I hope are meeting the needs of this community, and that we want to hear from you about how that's working, how it feels to get care here in Hastings, and to be part of your long-term future, because it's really an important part of our long-term future. So I know I'll have other chances to talk with you, take your questions, and we can talk more about healthcare. But for today, let me just bring our thanks, appreciation, and our pleasure at being able to be part of your meeting today and to hear more about what's going on in Hastings. Thank you.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks for you and your team and taking the time to be with us here today. We appreciate the care and attention you give to Regina, and we can tell it's in good hands. I'd now like to welcome our next guest, Dr. Tammy Champa. She is our current superintendent for School District 200. Prior to coming to Hastings, Tammy served as superintendent for the Pine Island District, just south of here. She has also spent time as a middle school teacher, a middle school principal, an elementary principal, and an elementary superintendent. Dr. Champa has her bachelor's degree, master's degree, specialist degree, and doctorate degree in various areas of education. It has been her lifelong goal, and she believes her responsibility, to provide a never-ending commitment to education and to the communities she serves. Please welcome Dr. Tammy Champa for an update on our public schools.
Not very good at standing in one spot, so we'll see how this goes. So just yesterday, I started losing my voice, so I apologize. Most who know me know that I never have any trouble speaking, and so today, if it's a little labored, that's why. I do have, one of my mottos is hire good people and stay out of their way, and hearing that I was struggling earlier today, I already had 2 cabinet members say, "Can I help?" And so with me today, I have Jen Subert, our Director of Finance and Operations, who's over here. Carrie Gore is our Director of Community Ed. And then we also have, February is School Board Appreciation. And so I have 2 school board members here as well. Director Mark Zuzik is in the back over there, and Chair Carrie Tate is right over here. So with that, when you were listing off some of those degrees, I grew up as an only child. And my parents really kind of begged me to go to school in the first place. And since then, though, my mom said, we didn't mean forever. Like, we just wanted you to go to school, not forever. So with that, I'm so proud to talk about, I've been in Hastings not very long, but already have had just an incredible welcome to this community. And again, am surrounded by just incredible staff. This is just an overview of all of our buildings, and so we currently have 6 sites in Hastings, including Tilden, which, if you're not familiar with Tilden, I absolutely love the structure there, that we have our youngest learners with our senior citizens, and it's just an amazing place to be. Our 3 elementary schools, our middle school, and our high school. And I just have the footprint there of Hastings Public Schools. We cover 170 square miles. And when we start talking about inclement weather, it's often when we talk about, well, in the southern part of the district or whatever. Of course, we haven't had to talk about that much this year, which I think I'm grateful for, but yet I'm just not sure how I quite feel about this weather. We serve right around 4,000 students in those grades K through 12. The area that really drives the work we do is, and this was done before my arrival, is the mission and vision of Hastings Public Schools and our core values. And I won't read all of this, but just our core values are that we're student-centered, we're showing compassion and respect, agility, innovation, voice and choice, partnerships, and empathy. And Hastings Public Schools is a choice for our families to have a caring and inclusive culture for all. It empowers our students, families, and staff, and focused on achievement and engagement in all we do. And one of the things that drew me here was just the tagline, is students are the heart of all that we do. And to every time we're making a decision, turn back and talk about how does that impact kids? Because so often we get other things that get in the way. And so always going back and talking about really how does this impact the experiences of all of our students. So when I was looking at Hastings and had my first interview, I came with what we called superintendent trading cards. And in my card, I said, this is what I would strive to do if I am selected for Hastings Schools. And the purpose was following the mission and vision of Hastings. And my goals were, number one, to establish a collaborative and trusting relationship with the school board. If the superintendent doesn't have a trusting relationship with the school board, it's difficult to make a lot of good progress and do good things for kids. Number two was build positive relationships and trust throughout the community and the community at large through open, honest, and purposeful communication. So part of that happened because of the work that was here in Hastings. So one of the things I came into right away was a technology levy. And I would have been reaching out to all groups, but that just kind of sparked that urgency a little bit more. So I had the opportunity to do that early on. And then develop a deep understanding of the district's finances, operations, priorities, programs, practices, plans, achievements, and goals. And finally, reflect on the feedback and celebrate successes as we work collaboratively to identify an action plan to address identified key priorities in alignment with our current strategic plan. So as I walk through some of the things that we are doing in Hastings Public Schools, I hope you can reflect back and feel that we've got some alignment as we are moving forward. So one of the things, and I have said, I'm sure there are jokes being made about this all the time because I talk about alignment all the time. Like I'm always saying, I'm sure there's alignment, or we could work on that process. So at this point, most everyone knows that my favorite words and process or phrases are alignment, working together, and moving in the same direction. And so Ken LaCroix, how many of you remember Ken LaCroix? All right, lots of you. We had the opportunity to have lunch earlier this summer, and we immediately connected, and I learned so much. In fact, the person who invited us basically said, I could leave now because you two have so much in common, and we did. And I have since heard that he used to talk about the school system as a wagon wheel, and that all parts of our school are equally as important as the other. And unless we have a healthy, all those areas are healthy, it's really hard to move forward. And so I labeled all of those spokes, and if we don't have all those areas healthy and moving forward, we get the wagon that's really not going anywhere, which is exactly what happens in schools when we're not working together. So thank you, Ken LaCroix, for that. My early focus areas, in fact, right away someone said, and how do you feel about the tech levy? And I said, well, I need to learn more about it. I need to get educated on it, because if I'm going to speak in front of groups of people to be an advocate for it, I need to believe in it, I need to support it, and I need to know every detail there is about it. And so really quick, I got up to speed and was able to really go around our community and talk about the importance of that tech levy. Also, financial responsibility. That was one of the key areas that our district was looking for. And I was super impressed when I came on board to really understand the deep commitment to school finances. And I'm going to have Jen Subert just speak to that a little bit more on school finances.
Thank you. So the district has always prioritized sustaining a financial budget that can help the district move forward in the future. We have, over the years, done financial reductions to ensure that we have a balanced budget, or at least a plan within our fund balance. And then we did receive ESSER dollars related to COVID, and as part of that, we're able to add many positions and additional supports to help us through the years with COVID. Those funds are now ending, so the school year that we're in right now, all of those funds will be gone. So we are currently planning for how we move forward from that. And then we are also wrapping up our bond. So we had a bond back in 2018 that had about $49 million that we are still kind of continuing to spend out. So we are in the last phase of that. But all of those things have really helped the district throughout the years, and we've been able to reach our goals and do what we needed to do. The new technology levy, which Tammy just touched on, will help us starting next year. We'll start receiving those funds, so we'll have a focus on some technology items there. Thank you.
And if I can just circle back to that technology levy, and thank you. Thank you for supporting that. It does make a big difference in the work that we're doing in so many areas. Academic achievement, and you'll hear more about that as we move forward, and then district and community relations. So one of the early things this fall was let's continue to get that baseline of how our staff and our community feel about our school system and what they see as our priorities, and this is what we heard. So with all of our families and staff, they had about 18 different areas that they recognized as priorities in our district. After number 5, it dropped off considerably. So number 1 priority was school security and safety. Number 2 was recruit and retain high quality staff. And I will say upon my arrival, that's what I heard time and time again, is we have great staff. We've got some challenges here, but we have an incredible staff, and I now have been able to experience that and could not agree more. Student behavior and discipline, mental health services, and career and technical education. So academic achievement progress, here are the areas, and so just how do these things align? If I take this off, will that cause issues with? No. No, I can do that? All right, yes? All right, thank you. I hate standing in one place anyway, so this is much better. So just wanting to look at all these areas and how they are aligned. And so aligning this to our strategic vision, to our strategic anchors, and then in our survey, number 2 and number 5. So we have right now, how many have heard about the READ Act, which was recent legislation? Okay, now I don't move. So yes, that is a big area. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we move forward. We're doing a lot with our curriculum review. Where are we in our cycle with all of our content areas and academic areas? And then World's Best Workforce, and we have an innovation team that's also looking at the experiences that our students have. So first off, the READ Act. So this is new historic legislation in Minnesota. And so what this led to, in Minnesota now, there's a number of states that have specific language on what they're doing with their literacy work. Minnesota now one of them. So we have 3 professional development options that districts can choose from. And for the first time ever, there's curriculum recommendations that are out there, and if you want funding, you will choose one of those. And so just this past Monday, our elementary staff looked at the options that we have there, so we're moving forward in this way. Trying to get out in front of it as much as we can because dollars are limited, and really wanting to make sure that we are able to take as much advantage as we possibly are or can. We also have an innovation team moving forward right now, and we're really looking at what is our experience at both the middle school and high school, and what is the desired experience. So one of the things that we did this fall is we toured Shakopee. And so for those of you who are familiar with Shakopee, at their new high school, they have pathways for learning. So students in 9th grade have the 9th grade seminar, and then from there they choose different pathways. So we're looking at that. One quick story of that, I was giving a brief update of this to the board at a school board meeting, and we had a couple of gentlemen who stayed the entire 3-hour board meeting, and so they came up afterwards, and I said, wow, way to persevere, and the response was, we're so excited about some of that pathway work, and we can provide, they worked with Delta, some of the things that they can do. So right now, all departments are talking about what their vision is, working with students to talk about what they would like to experience, and then working with our industry partners and how do we come together to continue to provide opportunities for our students. So stay tuned on that. We're very excited about this. The goal is that the school board will have a recommendation that will be a tiered recommendation. This is what we hope to do in 24, 25, 25, 26, and 26, 27. So really building on that. This just shows how it's aligned to our core values. And additional strategies for continuing to improve that academic achievement. World's Best Workforce came about in 2013 and identified 5 different areas for our schools to be focusing on: kindergarten readiness, reading at grade level, achievement gap, career and college readiness, and then all students graduate. And read at grade level has actually been taken out of that because of the READ Act, but it is still so critical in the work that we're doing. I just left it here. So every year we go back to this and we talk about the initiatives that are in place to continue to grow in all of these areas, and then add new and different strategies and continuously going through that cycle to continuously improve. Kindergarten readiness is one this year that a lot of new initiatives have been added there. How do we communicate to our local healthcare providers what is expected in kindergarten? How are we working with our childcare providers? All of that to ensure that we're all moving in that same direction with our arrows aligned. Some additional things, continued expansion and development of tiers for student support success. And so MTSS, sometimes we're really good at using acronyms in school settings, so break that down a little bit. We did submit a grant for that, and we're awarded that in the amount of $254,000. So we're excited to continue to expand support for our students. Our EL, English learners, population has continued to increase, and so working on what our delivery model looks like there, just updated our handbook, aligning all of our building and our staff development, so a new process with that. Expanding AVID, which stands for Advancement via Independent Determination, to our middle school. We already have a strong AVID program at our high school. And then at the bottom, that's what we call cadence of responsibility. And so each one of our cabinet members and principals, they set SMART goals every year. And then oftentimes, I don't know about you, but if I set a goal and I'm not automatically reminded of it or constantly reviewing it, it tends to go on the shelf. And so to avoid that, all of our cabinet members get an automatic reminder every month of what their goal is, and then they're asked to reflect on it both numerically and in narrative. And then the board every month gets to see collectively where are we on the aims of the district. So a constant reminder. We also have someone is also presenting on what their goal is also. Safety and security is at the top of mind in all that we do. We don't have to read many headlines to be reminded that it's a constant now in the world that we live in. So our safety and security is aligned to our strategic vision, and obviously that family and staff survey, as it was the #1 focus area, and it was an area of our tech levy as we talk about cybersecurity. So a number of things that we're doing there. Safe Routes to School is a Minnesota Department of Transportation grant that allows us to really be looking at our routes to and from school for our students that are walking or riding bike, and even our transportation via bus and automobile. And so 2010, the middle school had a grant to do that, and it was just the middle school. So we just submitted that again for district-wide instead of just that building. So that's just been submitted, so we're hopeful to be awarded that and continue to move forward and partnering with the city as well with that. We have an emergency management called Raptor. So if you come to our buildings, you have to scan your license and you get a pass then to get in our building. We're looking at expanding that for reunification also. We have Alice right now as our emergency plan, and we're looking at that in comparison to one called I Love You Guys. Cybersecurity is something that just continues to grow, right? And so right now we are looking at everything that we have. We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure we're not the next headline of a district that had a problem. And then alert notification systems, that too were in I'm sorry, I usually do not struggle to talk to you, but this has been a challenge today. So our alert notification system, we're upgrading that, so that is a one-stop system. Expanding our cameras, and then our equity, diversity, and inclusion framework. Student behavior and discipline is another area that came up in the top 5 for us. So we also submitted a grant for non-exclusionary grant for $200,000. That one was also awarded, so we're grateful for that. We have Catalyst in our elementary, and our building principals are giving quarterly reviews at the board meetings, again quarterly. And then in our middle school, we've done a lot of rescheduling room arrangements and new programming there. In community engagement and partnerships, just continuously working on our community partnerships. For those of you I haven't met, I look forward to meeting you and working with you. And a couple of things. Right now, there's a tour of gratitude is going on. School districts are really, really good, usually, at asking for money and asking for support. We're not as good at going around and saying thank you. Thank you for the support that we get and providing an opportunity for people to hear what is going on within our schools. Sometimes we hear about the not so great things, and I can assure you there's a lot of good stuff that is going on. So I look forward to the opportunity to meet with any group and just really talk about not only that gratitude, but the things that are going on in our district. And we're really excited. We have a new website that we're launching this summer, so we're excited about that. And we're partnering with HCTV and doing a marketing video as well. So we're excited about that. Mike's giving me the thumbs up back there, so thank you. And continuing to build those community relations. And like I said early on, I've just appreciated getting to know so many of you and hearing the work that you do and how do we work together to do more. And using that wheel alignment, just that continuous improvement and continuing to circle back. Questions that you might have for Hastings Public Schools and the work that we're doing. All right, with that, I thank you, and I appreciate you tolerating my voice today, so thanks.
Thank you again to Dr. Champa and your team for all the updates on our Hastings Public Schools. We appreciate the work you all are doing to better serve the community. Our final guest of the afternoon is Mayor Mary Fassbender. Mayor Mary is a lifelong resident of Hastings and has served the city in many capacities. She has been a private business owner, like many of us. She's been a community volunteer. She served on the Comprehensive Planning Committee. She was a member of the Public Safety Commission, and she has served as on the Hastings Charter Commission. In 2018, she was elected mayor and then was again re-elected in 2022. Mayor Mary can be seen at most events around town, often volunteering. One event you're sure to see her at is the annual Gobblegate Run Walk, which she helped to found in 1998. To date, it has raised over $1.9 million for charity and for Hastings Family Service. Wow. Please welcome Mayor Mary Fassbender for our State of the City address.
Thank you. That was very nice. I will add, I am a lifelong resident and alumni of our public schools, so I love that. So, excuse me, I am not struggling, but I do have a little frog, so thank you. So good afternoon, and thank you for being here today. The Chamber update and a local healthcare update, along with Dr. Ciampa's report and the highlights of our past city's accomplishments and future goals, truly is the state of our community. I think it's very important that our chamber, school district, and our city share their visions for the betterment of the community. I mark this year as progress through community engagement. We couldn't do it with all of our best partners in this room today. The Confluence Hotel and Missy's Sip and Savor opened this year due to a huge collaborative effort. We are so fortunate to have this amazing venue in Hastings. Thanks to the Confluence and Pat Regan, as well as our Community Development Director, John Hinsman. We were able to recognize the many partners on this project over the many years with a program, reception, and tours of the new building. The Confluence Hotel is quickly becoming a visitor and conference destination, and I look forward to welcoming more groups to our city. Community engagement was visible this year with our Highway 61 study and outreach to the business community and residents. This will ensure success on the important projects set to begin in 2027. Our goals for improved access and transportation along the Vermilion Corridor will soon be realized and will pave the way for future businesses in our development. Additionally, we worked with many neighbors to complete the neighborhood infrastructure project, which included a large segment of Pleasant Drive, and that is one of the city's main streets. We also engaged with our community partners and elected officials through our bonding requests for financial assistance for Highway 61 and other important strategic priorities, like the City Hall project, the renovations at the Hastings Civic Arena, plans to ensure safe drinking water through design of 3 water treatment plants for PFAS removal. PFAS, remains to be our top priority this year. Our state and national elected officials and organizations like Minnesota Department of Health and the Minnesota Pollution Control agencies are collaborating with us in addressing PFAS concerns. As you can see around town, we have new housing developments opening in all directions. In 2023, approval was granted for 207 residential units. Developers have expressed interest in a variety of life cycle housing for renters, families, and seniors, with dozens of units considered in the next 2 years. Construction continues with 2 apartment buildings opened for leasing this year. One of the current 33 apartments next to Terry's Hardware and Lake Isabel Flats downtown. The city also approved 78 permits for commercial and industrial development, including expansions at Regina Assisted Living and Dakota County Law Enforcement Building, as well as a new auto repair business in the industrial park, and construction of the Therapy Ops Speech Therapy Building was completed and open for business. You can read more about the housing and commercial developments on our website under Community Development. On the far east side of town, Shane Hudella and United Heroes League opened a premier outdoor rink, and we thank them for sharing the ice with our community partners. By now, I'm sure you've heard, Hastings was awarded Hockey Day Minnesota 2026. Shane is here, so thank you, Shane. Really, it was such an honor to be on that trip with you and just to experience the whole Ward Road situation, the villa, the village, and we're so excited, as you know, because our phones literally blew up for 4 hours after and the next day and the next day, but really we are so appreciative of you. As far as the west side of town, we welcomed Wexford Event Center and Bogey's Pub. Check them out for great entertainment opportunities. Several restaurants opened around town with a variety of dining options. We also have seen growth in our parks, trails, and recreation offerings. The Highway 55 Trail and Vermilion River Regional Trail renovations were completed this year, thanks to our parks and recreation. Our partnerships with Dakota County also need to be commended too for those trail systems. We also celebrated the Mississippi River Greenway Trail expansion to St. Paul, along with U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar and U.S. Representative Angie Craig and our Dakota County commissioners. An $8.8 million federal grant will help finish this 2.4 Greenway project in Rosemount, and that will make improvements for the trail to start in Hastings and end in St. Paul. So that's wonderful. In our parks, we updated our basketball courts, our disc golf course at CP Adams, and certainly, last for me not to mention but least, pickleball courts. That, I'm telling you, was a big completion to have in our community. I can't even tell you how many people are so thankful for that addition for not only our seniors that are actively involved, but I see youth there all the time. I live near there, so 10 o'clock at night when the lights are on, they're still all playing. And even in today, the warmer weathers, they're there playing. So that was a long-waited project, but it finally got done. So thank you. Our pool continues to surpass its prior year's attendance, and our Levy Park summer programs are growing every year, bringing new people to Hastings and showcasing our city. The rec, art, and police programs for youth grew as well this year. 2 years ago, we started a community investment fund where we partner with organizations to accomplish projects that improve our city. I have to say this has been one of my most favorite projects that the city has initiated. I'm thankful that the funds are being used. Last year with these partnerships, we worked with the Dakota County the Downtown Business Association, Building Remembrance for Reconciliation, Dakota County Historical Society for the Leduc Mansion, Hastings Football Club United, Hastings Environmental Protectors, and Hastings Youth Athletic Associations to complete several projects. Our new Arts and Culture Commission has been very busy. They initiated having more Dale Lewis art added to the trails on Levy Park and at Vermilion Falls Linear Park. They have completed an inventory of arts assets in the City Hall building, grounds, and parks. They brought arts and culture enthusiasts together for a networking event. And then they hosted a tour in January this year, which brought great awareness to the beauty and history of our City Hall. Our public safety departments are strong and responsive. The police department responded to more than 22,000 calls in 2023. They processed nearly 2,400 cases and completed more than 2,100 hours of training. Our reserve team of 11 volunteered over 1,500 hours in 2023 through their participation with community events, school district activities, and patrol operations. Our fire department call volume increased more than 8.5% in 2023, with more than 3,300 EMS calls and 750 plus fire calls. As you can see by all the recruiting, advertising, and promotions we've been doing, we are hiring for key public safety roles. Finally, this past year, our council initiated our outlook for 24 to 27 with a new strategic plan. The priorities are financial resilience, operational effectiveness, responsive community development, instructional sustainability, and strategic communication. You can read more about them in our upcoming issues of the Rivertown News. Dan leads our staff to implement these plans, and they do the work. We thank our staff for their efforts and using our core values to achieve the good for this community. We do all of this with strong financials. Budgets are not easy. It's hard to make decisions on wants and needs. And I can tell you as a small business owner, it's hard to be able to say no, not at this time. I applaud our staff for making the best recommendations for this community. Yes, in 2023, Council voted on a property tax levy that was more than prior years. But for those dollars, as we, a community, saw better infrastructure and more public safety in both our fire and our police departments. We were so pleased to be upgraded with a AA+ bonding rate from Standard & Poor's this past year due to strong financial management and growth in our community. This is the second highest bond rating and gives us more leverage for dollars for projects. For 2024, the property tax levy is primary funding source for services such as police and fire protection and parks and recreation. This year, we will continue funding for firefighters and EMTs, increase street maintenance and IT maintenance and security. We have set aside increased funding for skim patching and overlay on the streets and new capital equipment like a fire department ladder truck. Nearly $400,000 will go to renovate Three Rivers Trail from East 31st Street to the Tuttle neighborhood. This year, we will begin updating our wayfinding signs along the 10-mile loop, which will help increasing the increasingly numbers of people who use our trail system. We have a community engagement session on the plans to renovate and improve Lake Rebecca Park, one of our main tourism assets. The project will include development of a master plan focused on habitat restoration, enhancement, and expansion, as well as development of the Lake Rebecca parking lots, boat launch, and trails. The planning will begin soon and will be mostly complete next month, with projects to follow and completion by the summer of 2025. We anticipate finishing the remodel of Lake Isabel Park this spring with new park amenities, including an ADA accessible walkway between the upper and lower parts of the park. The park will also include new playground equipment, a basketball court, and a picnic shelter. We will encourage stakeholders to help us in visioning sessions for the future of Vets Park renovations. Our Hastings Civic Arena will have a new refrigeration system replaced and a new west rink roof. The long-anticipated repairs of the City Dome at City Hall will begin, which will show us to be able to continue the beauty of this building. We continue to work with our partners at the Metropolitan Council Environmental Service Group on the plans to relocate the current wastewater treatment plant in the downtown location to the edge of Ravenna Township to better serve the growth that is expected in our southeast metro. Of course, the housing starts, the Highway 61 construction plans, and PFAS mitigation will remain to be our top priorities. While all this work is being done in 2024, is a big election in politics and elections for our city council, state, and national levels. There are 3 elections to officiate. Our election staff are gathering up their works for March 5th presidential nomination primary. We are asking for the community to help by serving as an election judge, and we need more than 100 judges for each election. All the details are on our website. This year, we will also do our 3-year community survey. As mentioned, we make progress through community engagement, and we want to hear from our community on what you like about Hastings and what could be improved. Watch for the survey details coming later this year. Can I say Hastings is a great place? We wouldn't be here where we are today if it wasn't for our council and staff. Thank you to our city council for setting priorities and governing our city. Dan, I thank you for your leadership, your team and staff for all you do to move the strategic plan and projects across the finish line. I also want to thank all the members who serve on our city committees and commissions for reviewing plans and ordinances and bringing ideas forward to the council. Again, thank you for being here today and trusting us to make Hastings the best it can be. We value our partnerships and our collaborations and welcome your ideas at any time. Please contact me or your local council members or staff member. If you don't already subscribe, please visit the website to sign up for our city email newsletters and our city updates. Here's to another great year, Hastings.
Mary, thank you so much. And thank you to all the members of the city council, the city staff, for all the things you do day in and day out in Hastings to make it such a wonderful place to work and to live. We're very appreciative. This was really amazing. Thank you. So, on behalf of the chamber, today we appreciate the partnerships with the school district, with the hospital, with the city, and the allowance that you give us as community members and business members to be involved in some of the decisions you make. There's been some incredibly strong partnerships built, and we just hope that those continue into the future. So, in conclusion, thank you again to our 3 guests this afternoon for coming up and talking. We really appreciate it. If we could all give them one more round of applause as a group. And then just wanted to say one more time, thank you to Dakota Electric for sponsoring, and thanks again to the Public House for taking great care of us and feeding us this afternoon. Again, on behalf of the Chamber, we appreciate you all being here, making this a great event each year, and we hope you all enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.